All right, so part 4 involves us adding the front end, to make it now a full stack application. So earlier on, we did some folder where we created a folder called templates and created one HTML file there. So we are just going to create short files. And then in the next project, we'll now do a bigger work. Yeah. This is more friendly for beginners so that this can be your first project. So that as you build together with the next session, you'll be able to understand more of what has happened before. So we need to connect these files to what we've just written here. So how are we going to do so? So first we need to add the HTML files. Like here we have the base HTML file, and then we can first do the structure, and then we will add each and every content for every file. So this is the structure. So in the HTML, we have the base. So every other file that we'll be creating, every other HTML file that we will be doing will be depending on this. So there is a place here that we are going to add a section where the other details of any other file will be extending from it and then ending at some point. Yeah. So under the templates folder, I'd like us to have two files, base HTML file, and another one is navigation bar. So right click, add new file here, right click, and then new file, you can say nav bar. Yeah. So this second file inside templates here. Now, for every folder that we've created, we are going to add its own files. Yeah, we're going to add uh, its own file. So here, let's start with the products. Here, from the products. So inside the products, for us to be able to add the front ends, we need to add a subfolder called templates and then add another subfolder bearing the same name as this one. Yeah. And this is what I mean. You right click, add new folder, call it templates. Remember for Django uses the model view templates here. So it involves templates. So we'll embark more into it. There's a full session. I may not describe everything about Django. Now let's focus on the practical bit of it. So inside these templates, remember it's products, then templates. We are also going to add another subfolder having the same name as this one. So you right click and then add new folder and call it products. Here. Now inside this new folder, the inner one, inner products, this is where we are going to add the HTML file or front-end files for this folder product or for this app called products. So here you right click under products and then new file, and then we can say product list. That's the name that we use somewhere. Product list HTML. Yeah, we use this name. Is it here? Not here. Is it here? Yeah, this one. Product list. Yeah, and I'm sure it's also here. Remember, this is the reason why we said we use this one product list is because we knew that we are going to have this. So if you look at this this file, it ends by products and then product list HTML file. Yeah, I'll be detailing more information on why are we using that. If you make a mistake and maybe write this file directly here, then you'll have issues here. On the aspect that Django uses the model template view. Yeah, so it uses the views of the templates and so on. So this is simply the path after templates. Yeah, so in the same way, if you like to create views for cells, we'll be using the same format. Yeah, so for this one, we are not, I'm not going to add more details on cells, and I'm not going to add more details on users, but I will extend later on after completing the project. I will extend to see how can you extend the basic project that now is working. There is, that's where we are going to see how we can add the static files, like the images, how we can add also the CSS file here to try and modify everything and design it in a better way. So let's go back here. So here we have this file. We'll go again to cells here. Then inside cells, we are going to create a folder called templates. And then inside templates, we are creating a folder called, new folder called cells. And then now this inner cells where we are adding a file, maybe we can call it cut. We will see later on. So the first bit of it, we won't be using this cut because we're simply going to display the products alone. And then the extended in the advanced part of this project, we are going now to adjust to include all this. Yeah. So remember that. So just follow and let's see what will happen. Now we can go ahead and also go to the users. Now for the users, again, we can add something. Folder, call it templates. The inside templates, add another folder called, by now you know, users. Now inside this users, we can add maybe a file, we call it login. And it's a HTML file. Yeah. So this is a simple structure of what we are going to have. So let's start by, now that we had started on base.html, let's proceed with it. So here we are going to have, already have the title. Okay, so let me just open one of the profile so that I'll be able to, yeah, let me open some profile on Google Form so that I'll be able to add Bootstrap. So maybe I can use, let me use this one. So here, for example, if we want to check, if we want to add, remember the last time I said we're going to add a link here and simply link to the Bootstrap that will help us style our project here. So we are going to have a link, and this where we need to know where are you going to get it, Bootstrap link. Yeah, so simply go to your browser and look for Bootstrap. Bootstrap. Bootstrap here. So you have it here. just open. We need to find the link that we are going to include on the base file. So this link will be usable on every other file that will be extending from this file. Yeah. So now let's go to documents, docs, then go to download here. So now here we are going to see there is CDN here. Go to CDN, click on CDN. Then you're going to see two links. So there is one here for styling, Bootstrap for styling, like related to CSS. Then there is another one here for scripts or Bootstrap that are now related to JavaScript. So here's the difference, JavaScript, then CSS. So we need to use CSS here. We will see how we're going to use the others also. So simply copy, and then you are going to paste it somewhere. Going to paste it somewhere. And maybe it could be here, just after the title or anywhere within the head tags. So you can paste it there. Yeah. So this is the most important link up to here. Then you can decide to remove the rest, like from integrity and the others. You can decide to remove that or maintain them. Yeah. So that's our link. And then if we are going to add static files, like for CSS, here, for example, so if we're going to style, I won't add it now, but I will demonstrate during the advanced bit of it. So if we are going to style, to add our own styles, we can have here inside static here. Inside this static, we can add its structure also. Yeah, we can add its structure. And this simply means that we can say this can have another folder called maybe CSS. And now this CSS folder can have a file called styles. CSS. Yeah. Then we can also have JavaScript here. I'm just demonstrating the structure. I won't add the details for the static right now. So let me say JavaScript, JS. Then JavaScript will have something like scripts, .js here. And then we can also have another bit of images, new folder called images. So this is what represents static. JavaScript files, CSS or styling sheets, and also images. So all of them fall under static. Yeah. So now, let's go back to our base. So for example, if you have such a file here, if you have such a file, maybe you are going to add a style. So what you do is simply use write, or rather tell this file that you are going to have. Okay, you can use this place as HTML or Django HTML. Let me change to Django so that those using Django HTML can also benefit. Yeah, so this is how this is color. So you say you use this here. Then you can tell this section to be able to load static. Yeah, and then if you tell it load static, you now add the link to the edge static. Yeah, so like I can create link here. Then I can say, okay, to easy and time, let me change to HTML. This one, you already seen how it will appear. So let me just use this. So allow me to use link here. Link here. So having the link to the style sheet. Yeah, because considering CSS here, whereby it will be having a reference link of the following. So this is the static. So if you're adding CSS, you're going to add it this way. Yeah, so we simply add it is from CSS here, this part CSS and then styles.css. So it's CSS, then it's a / styles CSS. Yeah. And remember, for it to load, you need to add this. Yeah. So that's what we can expect. And then, of course, you close. You close that part. Yeah, so that's it. Can change to Django. Doesn't mean that you'll be changing this way. Just demonstrating an easy way for you to maybe handle these. If you're trying to save on time. Remember this still in the head section. So now inside the body section, So now here, this way you're going to include uh, the content. First, you need to include, if you have a footer, you include the footer and navigation bar and every other thing. But now navigation bar comes before the footer. So here we need to include navigation bar. So we say include here, then it tells you this, then you give it, okay, let me use this. The other one will simply autocomplete. So I'm going to give it navigation bar. So I'll say navbar HTML here. So that's it. You can as well use the other one, include the one that had appeared. Let me see, include this one. This one will give you direct. So simply write here what you like to include. Yeah, simply choose this one. Yeah, you can see. Simply write navbar. Remember, for a strings, you can either use single quotes or double quotes. So it doesn't matter here. Now, after navigation bar, what comes is the content. here. And the content could be in form of divisions. So it can be in form of a division here. So let me just write the structure. Yeah. So if I was using here HTML, if I were to use here HTML, it will simply autocomplete easily. But now, since I'm not using HTML, but I'm using Django HTML, I have to write it fully. So this is the division here. And then, so inside this division, this is where our content will be having our content. So this is where we can say this is where we'll have our block content here. So we can say block content. Okay. Just a moment. Let me try to use what they've given here. Here. That's where I'll be having our block content. So I can simply say there block, and then we write content. As easy as that. So what we have here, block content. Here, simply give it this. For the end block, we do not need to add. It can remain so. Yeah. So that will be having inside our division. And now that we've included our Bootstrap, you can decide to add some Bootstrap elements here. Yeah, inside this opening tag. For more information, how are you going to do Bootstrap, or you would like to learn more about Bootstrap, you can contact us. The link is on our bio. Yeah, and we'll be able to take you through a session one by one about Bootstrap, amongst others. Yeah, you'll be able to learn the entire course here. So that's what we can have inside the base. So this is the main file. Now, let's go to navigation bar here. Now, remember this is the main file. So the other files where we've added the block content and end block here is exactly what we'll be going to refer here. That's what we're going to have now for the others. Now, since we've added navigation bar independently here, we do not need to add it inside the division. Yeah, so the difference between this file and the others, that the others will be having the word extends from base.html, and then this one won't have, because we've included it independently here. Yeah. So here we are simply going to write our content. Yeah, I can even decide to change to HTML now, since everything here do not need may not need Django. So we are simply creating navigation bar here. Inside this navigation bar, in the opening tag, we can add a class, maybe it's navigation bar. So the same way we do write the others when doing the front end bit, the same way we do handle the navigation bar, we can do the same here. Here. So currently, I'm just going to add only one or I'm going to add only two, or rather just one anchor, and then or other page, then I'm going to extend more now in the next session. So here we can say we need to make it dark gray. So to make it dark gray, we can say navbar dark. So dark means dark simply gives the dark gray color. Also, we can say the background of that navigation bar can be dark here. So this actually is not black, but simply dark gray. That's almost looks like black. So we can have some division also here, where we can also add something here, some attributes, and say class. Okay, we can give it just one class container. Then now here, we're going to add the anchor tags here. Need to add the anchor tags. So like for the first one, I'm not going to use href. The first one, I can just say, okay, can just give it the name, Seovo supermarket. All right. And then I can give some attributes here. And we say, this is class, maybe navigation bar. And actually this is a navigation bar brand here. So that's it. Now we're going to add another one, now referencing the products. So href, we can say it's, you can see here, say templates, say products. Okay, there's no need of doing everything here. Simply say products. It will understand. Let's just use products so that this will be only be what we are going to write. And this the reference for products. Yeah, it's going to be labeled products. Yeah. And then this, you can add some class also. This will be like a button. Let's make it an outline of the button, and then can make it light gray. So simply use light here to make it visible on such a background. All right, that's it. So that will make it quite visible. Yeah, now what next? After this, I think we can simply stop here. You can add as many, if you got the knowledge of Bootstrap, you can add as many as possible. And add as many as possible as you would wish, depending on the size that what you're doing in the project or the number of pages. Yeah, so let's stop here. Or we need just to demonstrate. And then we can go ahead and do the product list. Yeah. And where did we have this? It's within the products. Let's find products here and then templates. then products, and then product list. Let's give it structure. So we can say, so now, because this one will be forming part of what we have here inside the content, we have to start by, let me just remove these others first. Yeah, we have to start by using things like, yeah, we need to start by extending from this base file. Yeah, this one. So that it will simply take all this content and then attach whatever you're going to write, it will attach it here. Here. So this is what we'll write. Other than redoing everything again, copying everything and pasting there, we simply say, okay, let me see if it will bring. Simply type extends, then it will give you extends, and then you say from base HTML. Here, extends the base HTML, because this is the file having the entire structure. Here. So now we need to have the block content. Yeah, like this. So simply need to focus here. So remember, this is exactly what you used here. So you introduce, you attach this and then attach this, and then all the contents, you place it in between the block content and end block. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. Yeah. So we'll be having this. So we can say now we have to create it ourselves. We're going to say heading 3. Heading 3. So we're going to say here H3. Here. Yeah. So maybe heading 3, where we'll be adding now our title, and we can say available products. Here. So available products, we can have them in form of a table here. So to save on time, let me change to HTML. Yeah. So here I'm going to say table. Going to create a table if maybe we are having them in form of a table. Now this table, is going to have some attributes here, and say it has a table class. So we can say class table, the class of it, and then we can include the borders. So we can make it bordered. Yeah. And then now we need to give the table row. Table row. So we'll be having a table header. Like one can be the name. Remember what we gave inside the model. You can have the name. Here, another one for table header. You can have the category. Yeah. Another one, we can have the price. Yeah. Another one, we can have maybe stock. Yeah, if you go back to the models or products what we created, you will find this. So these are the headings. Yeah. Now, the following will appear what I'm adding now will be referring to products. Yeah. So I'm going to say, I'm going to say that for products, for every product in products. Remember, this is what we included on the views, the models, what URL, what you'll find this. So because of time, I won't be able to refer back. So for everything inside that, it will follow the following. Have the table row, having the table data. Yeah. So this data will be having like the product name, maybe the product attached to name. Yeah. So we can have the name. Let me just copy and paste. Okay, let's use for, we have the product name, have the product category. Yeah, you need to attach the category. So all these will be added inside the admin, inside the backend. Yeah. But they will appear here as the table data. We will see that coordination. And then we have the price also. But from price, we have the quantity. Here. So that's what we will say. Quantity simply referring back to the stock. Yeah. And if we need to show where the one that will be, the data will be getting from backend ends, we are going to simply say, we're going to give it end for. So here we're going to write end for. Here. Then we have the table and then the end block. So now I can return back to Django HTML. Here, you will see. So this is how it should be visible. This is how it should look. Yeah. So now let's also go to the cut. Let's go to maybe cut HTML. This one now on the cells. We're just simply demonstrating a little bit here, just a little bit. We are going to extend later. So we say extends from base HTML. Yeah. And then next we say the block content. So because here I do not need that one, I'm simply going to add here. Here. Then I can remove as this space. Also this one here, I can remove the other space. It has to be as accurate as possible. Yeah, this extra space. So that we won't have issues, any issues. You have to be so much accurate. So now every other detail we can have them here. Here. Where maybe you can say for something like heading 3, heading 3, H3. Yeah. Then you can say maybe shopping cart. We won't add this today. We'll be adding it later. Then simply right now we can just say maybe in a paragraph form. You can simply say that this shopping cart will appear here. So here is where you can structure a shopping cart and it will appear on this page. Yeah. So I've simply frozen these. This file won't be visible when we'll be looking at the product, but we will review later the advanced mode to make it visible here. Then there is end block. Yeah, so that can stand for that file. Another one we can say is let's look at this. Maybe the login. Let's do the login. This is what's remaining, I think. So similarly, we'll say extends. Yeah, sends from base HTML. And then we need to get to know the block. So content. By here, we can also have the heading 3. Okay, let me just write fully. It's heading 3. Yeah, and then this could be login. Yeah, and for this login, we'll handle the form. So this will say, okay, let me just change. Okay, no worry. Let me just write full. So we say form. We say form. Then here we can add the method. That being equals to because this is going to post data, so method is post. So if you're submitting the login details, then we can say we're simply going to have yeah, this the token for okay, let me just remove everything first. So the token for that will be used to check. Actually, when you're posting, you do the use like you're using some tokens. Yeah. And then the login, the information submitted will be checked, and then we'll see what next. And then let me see also form. I also have the form. Yeah, so this will help us also. Yeah, in the management of form. So we can also have another thing called the button. Do we need this? Okay, let me just add. Then this a login button. Then I can add some attributes and say, give it a class. I can give it button primary. Primary means blue color when it comes to Bootstrap. Then we'll have the end block. Then we'll save our file. Any other remaining thing? So what we'll do, we'll simply come here. We need to create the super user. Remember what we postponed? Now we are going to create it here. Here, we need to create it here. This is where we are going to create it. Yeah. So, because of time, let's create it in the last part. So that's part 5. So in part 5, we'll be creating super user. We see how we can create our details for the management of the system. And then now we run the system. We see what happens. Yeah, so see you in part 5. Yeah.